Hey guys, this is Danny Marks, and I am doing a video today about how to find an agent. A while back, Melissa, the Metalhead Bookworm, there's going to be a link at some point. I can't guarantee where I'll put it. She asked me in one of the comments to do a video on this, so I'll let you know what to do. And I've got 6 simple steps. Actually, they're not simple. I mean, there's no easy way to find an agent. Publishing is a tough business, and you've got to be tough to sort of maneuver it. But the first step is to write an awesome book, and that's a big thing. And that's more than just sitting down and getting through like 50,000 words for a YA or 100,000 words for an adult book. It's about spending the time after you've done that to really look at whether or not you've written a good book, and dissect it and edit it, and make sure. I always call it polishing the turd, because the writers that I see that do not do well are the ones who finish their drafts and give it a read through and go, "This is awesome," and then they give it to only their closest friends, who will never say anything mean to them. And so all they've gotten is this good feedback about their books, and sometimes it's just not true. In fact, most professional writers that I know, we have beta readers and things like that we trust to give us back honest feedback about our work. And so the best thing you can do is do that. Get honest feedback about your work. Do not be sensitive about it, because after you've written it, you have to go back in like an artist. And this is an art. Never forget that writing's an art. You've got to go back in and polish it. Polish that turd. That's step number 1. Polish the turd. So, but a way that you can do that, and what'll help you do that, is there's a book called Self-Editing for Fiction Writers, and it's, I believe, by Rennie Brown, Browne. And that's really invaluable. So I would definitely go for that. Step 2 is to define your genre. When I was writing the first book in my adult series, I had no idea I was writing urban fantasy. I didn't even know that genre even existed. I just thought it was kind of horror comedy, that kind of a thing, and I didn't know. So what I did was I went to the library and started looking through books that I thought were similar, and I would read a couple of pages of each and see if the tone was kind of similar. And sort of narrowed it down that it was urban fantasy. So if you know that's what you're writing, or now they're splitting up, like if you're writing YA, now they're splitting up YA into different subcategories, and you're going to definitely have to know exactly where you fall, because an agent wants to know what they're going to do with your book. They want to know that it's going to fit into YA contemporary, or it's going to fit into YA paranormal romance, or just fantasy or sci-fi or wherever. They want to know all that. So you need to sort of define that for yourself and get that clear in your head. Step number 3, I have notes. I have actual notes, Melissa, and anyone else, aspiring writers. I have actual notes. So anyway. You should research the agents, okay? And what I did, and because I wasn't particularly very savvy about how broad the publishing world was online, I did things like I picked up. Oh, where is it? Okay, here it is. I picked up a writer's market. This is an old one, 2006. So that shows you when I was looking for an agent. And in there they have agents and publishers and what they're looking for and what their guidelines are. Now, every single agency has a website which will tell you their guidelines for submission. Some do like e-queries. Some will do, some you have to send paper. But whatever. You have to absolutely follow what they want. Beyond that, you can be yourself to an extent in query letters. I don't think that people tend to think that when when they get denied, when they're rejected by the agents, based on the query letter alone, that it was somehow related to not following a specific format. It's usually because their premise is not interesting enough, which is hard to hear. But it's easier to blame the other things, and that agents are sticklers and stuff like that. I have not met an agent yet that I thought was a stickler for those kind of things. They're interested in in a good story, and that you're not a completely ridiculous. Because when they get busy, and I've heard my agent talk about this, when they get busy, they sometimes will do some blanket denials because they just can't get to the stuff. They're just not going to be able to get to it. So anyway, but don't let it bother you. Go back in, fix it up. Don't send anything with misspellings or bad grammar. That would be ridiculous. But that's moving on to query letters. In terms of what I did to find my agent, I went through that same process of going to the bookstores too. And I found the books that I thought had a humorous content and were paranormal at the same time. And every single book has not every single one, but most books, authors will go through their who they want to thank, and there's an acknowledgement section. And in that, they usually list their agent, and then from there, I went online and found out their emails and things like that. So I did that. Also, you can go to agentquery.com and look up agents based on genre, and you can find out what they're looking for right now. My agent is Jim McCarthy at Distill and Goderich, Literary Management, which is a big New York agency, and I share an agent with Carrie Ryan and Rochelle Mead, and that's how we kind of all know each other. And then, and Michelle Rowan, who also writes YA, and other people. Lots of other people are with that agency. Heather Brewer. Anyway, let's see. The query letter itself. So I've talked a little bit about query letters, but you want to find out if it's email. You want to individualize it. Do not write a blanket query letter for your novel and then just change the, change the name at the top. Or God forbid, don't change the name and just say Dear Agent. That would be awful. You have to definitely personalize the letter and find out a little bit about the agent and about his clients or her clients, and put that in there. What you like about them, what drew you to that agent. That'll help you a lot. Be honest and do a brief summary that is really what makes your book stand out. What is it about your premise that is going to be sellable? That kind of stuff. And then suck it up and send it. It's scary. This is going to be the scary part. So the other part is that you're going to wait. You're going to wait, and you're going to grab whatever it is, your wishbone, whatever is lucky for you, your Freud and couch finger puppets. I don't know what sad puppy. It could be anything, but you're going to wait and you're going to hope. That's step 5, waiting. Step 6 is be professional. Whether or not you actually get an offer to be represented by an agent, you want to be accepting of that. If there's some kind of rejection, usually unless it's a form rejection, which they do send out, if there's something on there that's like, if it's handwritten or they give you some notes about your book, be really receptive to that criticism, because that's something that is telling them that, and they're telling you, they're sending you a message by handwriting something on the rejection letter. And that is that they're receptive to you. Period. They may not be receptive to this particular novel, but do not count them out in the future as being someone that you should send stuff to in the future. Do that for sure. The other thing is that if you do get an offer of representation and you've sent out other things, make sure that they all know that you've sent it out to different people, but in the first place, in the initial query letter. But if you accept an offer and you haven't heard back from other people, just let them know that it's okay that they don't read your stuff. Send them a quick email or a quick note and mail it off, and then that'll be good. And that's kind of how you find an agent. Those are the steps, really, but it's kind of difficult. Because when you will talk to them on the phone, because there is the call, you'll kind of get a feel for whether or not you're going to be able to interact with them well, and but that's all fine and good. If later down the line, if it doesn't work out between you, you can look for another agent. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal. It's a big deal if you want to make larger amounts of money in publishing. And I think that's all the time I have, because I'm rolling up on 10 minutes.